Donald Trump is literally Hitler reincarnated.
Hello.
Trump is literally Hitler. He's gonna take all the Muslims and Hispanics to concentration camps to kill us. Trump is literally Hitler. How do people not see this? Bing, bing, bing. Trump is literally Hitler, though, and all his supporters are violent right-wing racists. This is the truth. Bing, 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 bing. Trump is literally Hitler. His supporters are literally fascist Nazis. We shall kill them.
Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler?
Come on, try getting it out.
Trump is literally Hitler. WTF. Condoning the violence at his rally? Just like Hitler condoning the Nazis to round up all the Jewish. SMH. Bing, 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 bing. If you don't realize Donald Trump is literally Hitler, then you're what's wrong with the world.
We have very stupid people in our country.
Trump is literally Hitler. OMG. Trump is...
Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would run it, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile.
I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
Amira's sister is one of thousands of Yazidi young women and teenage girls who've been enslaved by ISIS.
So-called dating coach is now being called the most hated man in the world. That's the question that Time magazine asked. And it largely comes from a video from one of his seminars that emerged online. In it, there are techniques that are considered so bad that they allege on sexual assault.
Would it make sense for me to throw her on the bed and fuck her? Or would she be thinking, what the fuck are you doing? If she would be thinking, what the fuck are you doing? You're not clear, do not do this. Like say, for example, you go in for the kiss and the girl like pushes you off. Or you say the joke and she's like, what? All you have to do is step one, take a step back. That's it. I say hi and she kind of like freaks out and takes a step back. I know to like, oh, take a step back as well.
But surely inciting violence and rape crosses that line.
But you're also the first guy to back off if she says no. Or she's gonna say no, and then I stop.
The people that I do best with are the people that drive the taxis. You know, wealthy people don't like me because I'm competing against them all the time and they don't like me and I like to win. The fact is, I go down the streets of New York and the people that really like me are the taxi drivers and the workers, etc., etc. Because people are looking for leaders. People are looking for values, and you're one of the people. And it's no, you may dismiss it, but people are talking about, you know, Donald Trump for president. What they're really talking about is Donald Trump, show us the way. I would much prefer that somebody else do it. I just don't know if there's somebody else is
You know, it is, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
And this crooked media, you talk about crooked Hillary, they're worse than she is. Oh, they just turned off their camera. Friends, delegates, and fellow Americans, I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another 4-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Donald Trump is not literally Hitler. The only person who can literally be Hitler is Hitler. You mean figuratively. Hitler is literally Hitler. Donald Trump is literally Donald Trump.
Hello.
I'm literally Paul Joseph Watson, and you're literally a retard.
That's so problematic.
Aber wenn Sie, meine Herren, glauben, dass ich deswegen Berlin verlasse, irren Sie sich gewaltig. Eher jage ich mir eine Kugel durch den Kopf. Bing, 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 bang.
Guys are just like so focused on themselves, they don't even notice if the girl's freaking out. And I notice she's leaning in, take a step back, it's too much pressure. So anyway, what do you do? Now that's good, but too much, she'll freak out.
I think that's what Julien Blanc is doing. He's promoting sexual assault.
First guy to push, first guy to back off. They don't notice when the girl takes a step back. Like you'll see this, like I do it on boot camp, I'm like open, and the guy's walking, and the girl's actually like pushing him on the chest, like, oh yeah, that's nice, like stepping back like this, and the guy just keeps on going. And I'm like, dude, pressure off, pressure off. You're out of there. You take a step back, you can try flipping it around a bit, but if she keeps with a no, leave, okay?
He's using like emotional and physical abuse as a way to pick up girls.
You're being physical, she's tensing up. Instead of being practical, taking a step back, you're like, oh, more physical, it has to work. Just act by fucking impulse. And that's like the worst way of going through life or going about game. You can still be excited, but again, it's not like a forceful, attacking excitement. One, I take a step back. Two, I acknowledge the fact that I went too far with a statement of empathy.
You used it into an empowerment model for some, pathetic man group, right?
Well, this here is not something that I teach either. It's not a chart from my course, and I do not show this at my course.
So you had nothing to do with this?
So far in the opposite direction of what I teach, that I stupidly thought, mocking it would be funny, but it wasn't, and I regret putting that out. You really cannot control them, okay? You can convince yourself, like, well, this is pickup. They said I can control every girl's reaction. No. Important to also start viewing her at that point as a real human being. All those girls are still just human beings, okay? And we tend to like overblow them into like these fairy tale like princesses. It's like this girl here is just perfect. Whenever she shits, perfume just flies out, gold just flies out, candy flies out. And you just really, really overblow it, and your mind basically cuts off that real side of who she is.
They repeatedly raped vaginally, anally, and orally 2 of the young women over a 7-hour ordeal. And this is the type of sick stuff that, the stuff that Julien is doing, it could elevate to that. It's already... Like,
my interactions are very interview mode. Like, I roll up and I'm like, cool, what's your name? Where are you from? Are you from Miami? Awesome. What do you do? How old are you? How do you know each other? Where are your friends? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's very down to earth. Get to know her. Enjoy talking to the girl, okay? Enjoy talking to her. Okay, so it's not just some nightclub guy. It's actually having a real interaction where we're just both human beings.
And he chokes girls all over the world. He has a hashtag like choking girls all over the world.
Who here follows me on Twitter or Facebook? It's like, I did this like a while back. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna tweet like a bunch of like obnoxious shit. It's really, really fucked, okay? It's like, for example, the latest one is that awkward moment when she refuses to let you cum in her mouth. Shit like that. Okay, like when people say it, it's like, you actually show that to girls? I actually tweet that for girls. All my tweets are actually designed for girls. The way that I also write them is there's somewhat of like an ironic kind of like sense of like, ironic like humor to it. I'm the type of guy, okay, this is me, I'm the type of guy, if I want to say something and I find it amusing, I'm gonna say it, even though it might risk like me losing you. I don't give a fuck. Or like even worse, like, I hope my next girlfriend's just as retarded as this one. Whenever I get a girlfriend, I fuck another girl. All this obnoxious shit that's just like really provocative, like just meant to shock. This is my sense of humor. I have a very like Borat-like sense of humor where I just like fuck with people's realities. I love to fuck with the reality. This is what we call being yourself. If I have a joke on my mind, I'm gonna say it. And all I have to do after that, when she hits me up, and this is like my regular text that I get after she finds the tweet, it's like, you know what, Julien, I just saw your Facebook and you're not the person I thought you were. I'm like, okay, well, number 100 to tell me that, okay? It's like, not the person I thought you were. But all I have to do is just offer a different perspective, okay? What's a different perspective? Just for that, literally all that I have to say is, Oh yeah, you know, it's not really me. I do it for promotional purposes. It's done. She's like, it's not really him. Promotional purposes. There's your other perspective. Done. Clicks in her reality now. She's like, okay, that's fine. That's it. Stop being so serious. Stop even viewing life so serious. Stop viewing fucking, like, everything serious. Some people are like, morals, like, you can't say that. Politics, you can't say that. Like, start having fun. Pickup is fun and lighthearted. Don't be ashamed of anything who you are. Don't be ashamed of like something you like. Like, don't hold anything back. Just offer it, and it makes sure that the girl's able to follow by, again, offering different perspectives about it. Okay? That's really all that it is. That's like one of the core, baselines of game.
Ways of abusing and manipulating women.
Be yourself, but at the same time, you have to let go of the outcome. Okay? You have to be yourself for yourself and not want anything in return. 100%.
How can you say that you didn't intend any of this when we just look at the picture that was behind us? Not of the beautiful cityscape here, but of your face holding a really ugly saying about women. You intended every part of this, true?
My intentions were never bad. I agree it was a horrible attempt at humor, and unfortunately a lot of it also got just put out of context. Being polite and conservative, you always end up fucking last, okay? Now that doesn't mean have bad intentions, like have good intentions, be considerate, but put yourself out there. Everything's amusing. You come from an abundant space where nothing is serious, okay? Nothing's so serious. Usually you put way more importance on things than you actually should. This is what we call being yourself. If I have a joke on my mind, I'm gonna say it. If she's leaving, I'm like, last chance for love, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, just say something ridiculous. Like, embrace it and have fun. Like, it's really not that serious.
He just posted that stuff as a joke because he finds it funny. Yes, some people may not find that funny, but everyone has a different sense of humor.
Like, those pictures there, again, was a horrible, horrible attempt at humor. They were also, like, taken out of context in a way where...
How could they be taken out of context? Give me the good use of choke a woman.
You can make anything look bad in a picture.
How does choke a woman look good?
Those girls were girls I was hanging out with, during my time there. I did place my hand around their neck. I did not physically choke them.
You think that men meet women and get into meaningful relationships with the tips that you give them?
More than you'd think, yeah.
How do you know that? I'm baffled by that. That's why I
receive emails all the time.
A couple years ago, I attended one of your programs, and that day really changed my life.
I've been invited to weddings of previous clients.
I'm in a good relationship with a really nice person now, and chasing after the dreams in my life wouldn't have been possible without you.
Yeah, people are just eternally thankful.
Yeah, I hope that you teach flocks of men this, because I can say that it works.
So realize your own worth. It's not this whole serious ordeal where you're just going up, you're negative, you're in your head, you're walking up to girls, it's like this mission impossible. You're like, oh shit, and if you fail, like the world explodes, okay? It's really not like that. You're not trying to force any kind of impression, you're not caring, you're not attached to the outcome, you're just like fully sharing who you are with the girl for your own amusement. And the fact that you are amused by everything you do creates that nice, again, those good emotions. Those good emotions. And don't be afraid of it. Like, don't try to hide who you are.
Everybody learn RSD from Tyler and Julien and Owen, etc.
Stay in there, all this crap will blow over, and all the best in the future. Thanks, man.
Now, several countries are trying to keep him out, including Australia, the UK, and Brazil.
I even tweeted recently something like, it doesn't matter why you're famous as long as you're famous. Until next time.
Clinton is the one that approved NAFTA. NAFTA is the worst deal, one of the worst deals our country's ever made from an economic standpoint. One of the worst deals ever. It's taken, if you've seen what it's done to New York State and New England and virtually every state, but it has just sucked. It has sucked the jobs out of our country. It sucked the money out of our country. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're going to make it much harder for people to leave, for people to take their companies and just go to Mexico and then sell the product back into the United States with no tax.
All right, so let's unpack a little of this stuff one at a time. And first of all, just to get back to tone, just for 1 second.
A little bit of this is because you're on the phone. As you know, when you're in person with somebody, very often you can interpret questions. But I think maybe if you were face to face, it might be a little different. That's all.
You think you would have asked a different question?
No, but I think that you're taking it the wrong way, because obviously I'm playing off with the headline is everywhere this morning. I'm not just making it up. And NAFTA, I understand you wanting to bring up trade. As you know, Clinton did not pass NAFTA. Bush passed NAFTA.
Calling it a defining moment, President Clinton with great fanfare signed legislation putting the North American Free Trade Agreement into law.
So you can criticize it all you want.
Who signed NAFTA?
You criticize all you want. I'm just saying you want to keep the history. Bush was involved with NAFTA, I mean, as you know.
Whose bill was it and who signed it?
But what is your point, though? This was in the Bush administration.
One of the worst deals ever made in
Bush
the history
41.
of our country.
The gains from this agreement will be your gains too. I ask those who oppose NAFTA to work with us to guarantee that the labor and side agreements are enforced, and I call on all of us who believe in NAFTA to join with me to urge the Congress to create the world's best worker training and retraining system.
And it has just destroyed manufacturing and destroyed
All right,
jobs.
that's a valid point. You just have to spread the blame across both parties. And you have to come up with a solution.
The signer of NAFTA, take a look at who signed it. Check it out.
Bush 41.
Calling it a defining moment, President Clinton with great fanfare signed legislation putting the North American Free Trade Agreement into law.
The gains from this agreement will be your gains too. I ask those who oppose NAFTA to work with us to guarantee that the labor and side agreements are enforced, and I call on all of us who believe in NAFTA to join with me to urge the Congress to create the world's best worker training and retraining system.
Okay, you take a look. NAFTA was a Clinton deal, and he wanted it so badly. And I have not been a big fan of what went on in terms of economic development or with the war with Bush either, frankly, if you want to know the truth. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But if you take a look at NAFTA and you take a look at what's been done and how hard Clinton pushed it, and that bill has been an absolute disaster. The passage of that has been an absolute disaster for our country.
All right, fair point. You want to criticize NAFTA, doing more
and
about
trade,
bring it back, helping the veterans.
Back into our country, and we're going to make it very hard for companies to leave and then sell product back into our country and rip us off. And all we end up getting is unemployment of great people.
So-called dating coach is now being called the most hated man in the world. That's the question that Time magazine asks. And it largely comes from a video from one of his seminars that emerged online. In it, there are techniques that are considered so bad that they allege on sexual assault. Now, several countries are trying to keep him out, including Australia, the UK, and Brazil. We have the man at the center of this controversy, Julien Blanc, with us here on New Day. You seem noticeably nervous. Julien, why is that?
Well, I'm sure you read the headlines. But first, before getting into it, I just want to apologize, to anybody I've offended in any way. This was never my intention, and I just want to put it out there. I'm extremely sorry for everything that happened.
The key to an apology is honesty, right?
100%.
How can you say that you didn't intend any of this when we just look at the picture that was behind us? Not of the beautiful cityscape here, but of your face holding a really ugly saying about women. You intended every part of this, true?
My intentions were never bad. I agree it was a horrible attempt at humor, and unfortunately a lot of it also got just put out of context.
These aren't memes. You have a course that you do here.
Yes.
And again, the honesty of it is, this is a program you put in place that you think can help guys meet women, and meet is in quotes.
Yeah,
not an accident, not a meme, not a one-time thing. This is a pattern of behavior.
Yeah,
I don't hear you owning it.
Basically, I teach guys how to gain confidence, most of them socially awkward. Teach guys how to gain confidence in order to, socialize with women and perhaps get into a relationship with a woman.
But it's really about how to have sex with women, right? That's what a lot of the details
part of it, but to be honest, too, a lot of our clients do meet their spouses on these programs.
You think that men meet women and get into meaningful relationships with the tips that you give them?
More than you'd think, yeah.
How do you know that? I'm like baffled by that. That's why
I receive emails all the time. I've been invited to weddings of previous clients. Yeah, people are just eternally thankful.
You tell them to choke women. You tell them to take women's heads and put them in your crotch, in a man's crotch.
And that's where a lot of the confusion is coming from.
There is no confusion. There is no confusion. I'm telling you,
okay.
I think if you want this to be meaningful for you in any way, you better own this stuff that you're doing.
No, I 100% take responsibility, and I apologized 100% for it.
You apologize because you got caught or because you're sorry?
No, I'm extremely sorry.
Okay.
Like, I feel horrible. I mean, I'm not going to be happy to feel like I'm the most hated man in the world. I'm overwhelmed by the way people are responding. With those pictures there that you're referring to, of again, like choking women, I just want to make that clear, that is not what I teach. Like, those pictures there, again, was a horrible, horrible attempt at humor. You know, it's, you know, they were also like taken out of context in a way where...
How could they be taken out of context? Give me the good use of choke a woman.
You can make anything look bad in a picture.
How does choke a woman look good?
Those were girls I was hanging out with, you know, during my time there. I did place my hand around their neck. I did not physically choke them. And again, I just wanted, you know, to just, you know, create like, again, horrible attempt at humor and just trying to provoke a shock, which it did, but for all the wrong reasons.
How about this thing?
That chart there, yes.
That's
been brought up quite a lot.
Now, this is an adaptation. Let's say what it is before what you perverted it into. This is an abuse hotline, a woman's protection palette where you're supposed to see different signs of things that are being done to you that you should be careful about as a woman. Yeah. You used it into an empowerment model for some, you know, pathetic man group, right?
Well, this here is not something that I teach either. It's not a chart from my course, and I do not show this at my course.
So you had nothing to do with this?
This is so far in the opposite direction of what I teach that I stupidly thought, you know, mocking it would be funny, but it wasn't, and I regret putting that out.
How did you get into this situation?
Into teaching men how to gain confidence?
Yeah, it's just sitting where you're sitting right now. How did you get into this?
Posting a lot of stupid stuff online. I thought, once again, it was being funny. It was stupid. I regret it, and I'll definitely be more careful in the future.
Did it? Well, the question of what the future is a little gray right now, right? I mean, you think guys are going to sign up and take your seminar?
I mean, I hope so, but I'm also reevaluating everything I put out and everything I'm going to be putting out.
Your parents still with us?
They know this, yes.
Do they know what you've been doing?
Yes.
Your mother?
Yes.
What does she say?
Well, she's, again, overwhelmed as well. She thinks it's horrible, but I did mention to her, like, that was not my intention. Again, the reason I was putting this out wasn't because I was advocating this. You know, I teach guys how to socialize, how to approach women, but I also teach them how to back off and when to leave. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've easily coached thousands of clients. There's never been a single incident, and there's a reason for that. It's the bigger part of our seminars are focused on when to back off, how to read the signs of consent. And this here, again, stupid posts that I made, stupid pictures that I put up, do not represent what I teach in any way whatsoever.
What was the point of them?
I was trying to be funny. Stupid.
I looked at your site, full admission. I didn't study it the way I normally would because I didn't really see the point in it, to be honest. I don't see anything about pulling back. I see if you can't get her to your house, try to get her to her house. If you can't get her there, try and put it off until another day. These are not healthy suggestions. We live in a culture that is constantly battling to teach men how to treat women with respect. We have problems with it everywhere we look. And then you do this.
Yes.
Why?
As I mentioned, I should have put more focus on the consent, 100%. But, you know, a lot of our clients, as I mentioned, are socially awkward guys. You know, it's guys who are just too scared to walk up to women in the first place, let alone say hi, let alone even ask for the time. So we do teach when to back off. Like, again, everyone is just like hammered in. Unfortunately, that wasn't condensed in those pictures there. But, you know, it's like the main thing, too, is like it's okay to put yourself out there. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to say hi to someone. Now, again, only if the person wants to listen to you.
Respect.
100%.
This is all about disrespect. What I see there.
This is not what I teach. I don't do this. I don't teach it. It was something stupid that I put out. I regret putting it out, and I apologize. I really, really do apologize.
But your site is what sells the seminar. Do you understand?
This is not what sells the seminar. The seminar sells with the results that it produces, and no one, there's not going to be thousands of guys signing up for some seminar that, you know, promotes these types of things.
What are those results? The results of like what? Is it like a sex to encounter ratio?
No.
Well, like what do you have?
The
What
results
metric
of changing
do you
who you
provide?
are. You know, if someone's like introverted, I used to be very introverted. To allow yourself to express
But
yourself.
a guy who wants to do these kinds of things should be introverted. That would be the argument I'd make, is that these are the last, anybody who wants to pick up on this kind of behavior toward women, those are the last men you should be encouraging to do anything. You should take their $3,000 just to put them into some kind of support group, not to teach them these kinds of mechanisms.
Well, as I mentioned, I do not teach them what you're mentioning here. I teach them how to socialize. I teach them how to express themselves. I teach them when to back off when the girl is not interested. That's what I teach.
Get down on my knees, get down on your knees and call me master. Where does that lead?
That's, again, stupid things that I said. I thought the entire time
So everything
I was
that
being
I
funny.
see
I
on
was
that
trying to be a
site-
smartass. It wasn't funny. I apologize. I regret that. But I just want to clarify that's not what I teach, and I make sure that my clients know that.
Site's still up. Stuff is still on there. You say that I made my Twitter private and this and that, but the stuff that's on your site right now, pimp my game, not good stuff.
I know. I reevaluated, like, again, a lot of what I put out. As you mentioned, I put down my Twitter, my Facebook. I even took down some videos. I want to make sure, again, nothing is taken out of context the way it is here, and I want to be very careful with, you know, what I release if I'm going to release more in the future.
You have any sisters?
Yes.
What would you do if a guy did anything like this to your sister?
Well, first of all, I would hope that he would know when to back off, which is what I teach guys.
Any of this stuff that's on your site, if they
there's
did
any
that,
sign of lack of
if they
consent,
talked to your sister like that, if they did that, if they put their hands on your sister,
which they never would without a sign of consent, and that's what I hammer on. I'm like, if
I
there's
don't care
any
what sign of
tenseness,
consent says put your hand on some woman's neck, you don't follow that sign of consent, right?
And that's
called
not what I
discretion.
teach. Don't, again, confuse what I teach versus some stupid attempt at humor
I think you're
that
backing
wasn't
away.
funny.
I
that
think you're
put up.
backing away from what you teach because it's getting you in trouble.
I'm not. I'm just, again, I apologize, and I take responsibility for it. It was something that I never should have posted online, but I do just want to clarify that's not what I teach. None of my clients do this, and I don't make my clients do this either.
Do you think that you're qualified to teach this kind of stuff after the behaviors you've been involved in?
Once again, I'm reevaluating everything. We'll see in the future.
What do you say to the women who are watching this right now? You're a 25-year-old guy. This is like the biggest fear of a woman, is that there's some guy who's going to come up and play them and hurt them emotionally and maybe, given what you're doing, physically. What do you say to them?
Well, first of all, I think that's horrible, and I'm sorry. That's what I say. It's like, I'm sorry, and I just want to clarify. I do teach when to back off. This, you know, the world's reaction to this has just brought more focus on that, and I'm definitely, again, if I continue to teach this, I'm going to reinforce that I do teach consent. And I teach it, you know, it's in a very clear way for like any guy to understand, where it's like if there's how to read a girl, what signs, again, is like she's not into it, to back off immediately. And again, don't overblow, or not overblow, those pictures don't represent who I am or what I teach. And I'm sorry.
The bright spot is that the rejection of the methods is a sign that the culture is moving in the right direction, frankly, because these are the worst kinds of messages we have. An apology is about owning a situation, promising not to do it again, and showing a difference. That's the test for you, young man. You're going to have to show that not only can you say it because it's convenient, but you're going to do things differently
100%.
Going forward. It's a big question mark for you. We'll be following you, all right?
Thank you.
And so is the audience.
Bring it back, helping the veterans back into our country, and we're going to make it very hard for companies to leave and then sell product back into our country and rip us off. And all we end up getting is unemployment of great people.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
Because a vision softly creeping.
You're awake, by the way.
You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country. It's real.
It has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance. I can't believe.
In her lifetime, she deserves to be the first female president. And that's what makes me so sad. And President Obama, Mr. Obama, I want to say thank you for everything you've done in these past 8 years.
If you're not fucking pissed right now, what is wrong with you? What is fucking wrong with you if you're not pissed right now?
Left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
You make me laugh. God bless you.
Not my president! Not my president! Not my president! Not my president!
Still remains within the sound of silence.
Bing, 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 bong, bong, bing, 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 bong.
I'm triggered.